The Morning Dump
from Hurrdat Sports
with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
That doesn't look like Damon.
It looks a little different. We're not.
Damon?
We're not really.
You do wear kind of like similar colors as Damon. He's a big black and white guy.
Black,
gray.
white,
gray. Very neutral.
That's
what you.
He throws some red.
By no
there.
means do you ever want to be called biased at any point by wearing a team color. So it's a good thing that you wear black and white and all those colors.
There
he is.
Black. Hey, I do wear black and gray, and occasionally I'll have like a royal blue or a red, but I purposely, make sure I'm not going anywhere important.
Guys, it's Mike Sautter, everybody. All right, Morning Dump on Friday.
Big crowd.
It is that we kicked DB off for Morning Dump.
Damon.
No, he's out running around.
He needed to be somewhere this morning.
Handling some business on his own.
He needed to be.
Making the rounds today.
Yeah. Today's kind of the first day that football coaches can be back on the road, if you will. So he felt like he needed to be at his son's high school for.
I don't know why.
When coaches go there and
I don't know why. Maybe
say hi.
Maybe Caleb's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Maybe he's getting recruited.
Yeah. Him and the Rezak.
He's a stud. So is Rezak. Oh, yeah. He's a stud, too.
Both of them. So Tony White, Nebraska's defensive coordinator, is in Omaha today. At least I know that from what I've seen today. Making a stop by West Side and Omaha North at least. Guessing there'll be maybe a couple others that I haven't been able to confirm at the time of us recording this.
Mike Sautter _, to get all of those updates throughout the day.
Probably just be a thread. So, it's kind of neat to see. Obviously I think people get excited when the coaches with the N on their chest walk in the building around here. So.
Yeah, it's there is some sort of feeling that you get when you see that. And it's almost that fangirl feeling. Yeah. I'm not saying the recruits feel that way. Maybe they do, some of them, because this is the team they've grown up loving and adoring from a young age. But for everybody else, it's like, oh, wow, do you see that? That's Tony White. Or, oh, guys, that's Matt Rule. Like, hey, don't look now. Like, it's one of those things. Like when you eye somebody down and you're like, hey, don't draw attention to us.
Well, when he was first hired and first kind of making the rounds, like it would be kind of this day or whatever. Man, there were secretaries taking pictures with them and all kinds of stuff. Like it got wild. Hey, Scott.
He always makes an appearance.
Hey, Scott, how much golf you been playing? Oh,
no, absolutely not.
Scott, where are you at right now?
Yeah, we had a good time last night.
Oh, man. Not touching that.
Not really.
You probably did have a good time last night.
We had more conversations than I can remember.
Yep. Well, it's because you had a good time.
Sure.
Hey,
okay.
Let's go one step further than college here. High school. Well, we started in high school, and then we were talking about college coaches. Let's go to the NFL because it's a big weekend.
Yeah.
It is super
wild card weekend.
By no means should I call it by the wrong name.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to misidentify something.
I'm just upset that Jets
Jets
are not a part of it. Should be.
I'm reading a headline right now that says Jets owner Woody Johnson absolutely willing to pay for a veteran QB. Could you see Lamar Jackson there?
Let's go. Yeah, bring it on. All of it. Give me all that.
Give me all of it.
How much is it going to take? Throw the truck.
There. You guys are almost
Throw the
there.
Truck at that guy. Quarterback's the one position.
Mm-hmm. You are almost there.
And the offensive line had a bunch of injuries and all that.
Defensively,
Mekhi Becton looks very svelte. I saw a picture of him the other day. He was in the locker room post-season talk stuff, and it was like, whoa, that guy looks skinnier. And I guess he said some stuff. So I could talk about the Jets all day long because I'm a New York Jets fan. But
you are? Couldn't guess.
Yeah. But man.
You're almost there.
If
you are almost there.
At this point, I'm like begging them for like Jimmy G even.
You guys could do a lot with a Jimmy G. You guys could make the playoffs, but could you win in the playoffs with Jimmy G? I don't know.
That defense, man, is real good.
They are, and Sauce is about to win what Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He better.
Who's up next? Stingley? Is he
Probably,
close
maybe.
second? But Sauce has been outrageous this year.
Garrett Wilson should win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he won't because Kenneth Walker probably will.
But Breece Hall would have won.
Breece Hall would have. The Jets would have made the playoffs if Breece Hall and Elijah Vera Tucker didn't get hurt.
Think about your future though, by knowing that if Breece would have stayed healthy, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Sauce stayed healthy, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. And offensive lineman that's a rookie that started on every position but center.
When you guys traded for C.J. Mosley, it kind of confused me because I'm like...
Oh, no, I was cool with that.
Well, I know, but because he's a great player. But what confused me was how can one player really change the dynamic of that defense? And it did.
2 years ago, he doesn't play. COVID sits out. This year, plays All-Pro.
But remember...
Or not All-Pro, but Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm. So it's something that I think about a lot because the Bears defense is kind of taking a hit because they don't have a good pass rusher.
How do you feel about Raekwon Smith getting all that money with the Ravens?
It's one of those things to where he wasn't happy playing in Chicago.
I know.
So if you pay a guy that's unhappy, are you really getting his best? And so it's okay for me to see that happen. He's a stud, and I'm a little perturbed that they couldn't make it work in Chicago, but hear me out here because the Bears are in the best position possible they can be in the draft because they can either trade back and get a pick, maybe 2 first-round picks. If they traded with Houston for some odd reason and got 2 and 12, just imagine what they could do.
A lot.
The reason I say they may have to trade back is because
they don't need a quarterback.
Someone's
going to need a quarterback.
But
I'm worried the Jets are going to give up a lot to go up and get one because they have the 13 pick, and I'm like,
but I don't trade up all those picks to get a Will Levis. I don't trade up all those picks to get an Anthony Richardson. You trade up for a C.J. Stroud and you trade up for a Bryce Young. Frankly, I would only trade up for Bryce Young.
Oh, I'm a Stroud guy.
See, but Stroud, he's going to be a stud.
Yeah,
he's the size of a quarterback that you're looking for.
I honestly, if I'm as a fan of a team that has gone through a zillion quarterbacks and can't seem to find one,
just don't freak out over one throw in the combine this year.
Oh,
please don't do that.
It was a pro day, and I was watching it live. I was watching it live on NFL Network. I will never forget watching that. It was 2 years ago.
Pretty nice.
And I was like, "Whoa, that was amazing!" And then I kind of took myself back a little bit, and I was like, okay, let's just calm down here. But as someone, I would take Stroud.
Right. But going back to my original
point. I think it's a preference thing. What do you like more?
Yeah, I think you get a lot more out of Bryce Young when it comes to extending plays than you do with Stroud. But Stroud is him having the size of what you're looking for in a quarterback.
I think you worry a little bit about the Kyler Murray situation.
You are a little bit with him. I think you are a little more advanced than you are with Kyler. You're more Mahomes than you are Kyler when it comes to upstairs.
Yeah. Right.
But all in all, I don't think you can really choose wrong.
No, yeah, both.
Two.
I think both. It's almost like, I was going to say Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf when they were coming out, but I don't think either one of these two will be busty guys. So.
I don't think so either. Now, what I was getting at, though, is if the Bears were to trade back, you set yourself in good position to rebuild that defense or even grab an offensive weapon, too.
There's some really good defensive linemen.
But one player can change your defense. And that's what I've learned ever since watching things happen with C.J. Mosley in New York.
Well, Quinnen Williams is going to get paid a lot of money. He was a fourth
You put one player on defense, and that completely changes the game. Yeah. Why is that, though? Why can one player do that?
I think a lot of it, with Mosley in particular – his leadership and just football IQ is off the charts. That totally makes a difference and helps.
You could get a lot of that in Jalen Carter this year and Will Anderson.
Yeah, they're both kind of really going to be.
Who do you take?
They're really good. If you need a defensive lineman in that situation, you just jump.
Who's the better pass rusher? That's what you really ultimately grab.
Yeah.
But Jalen Carter, I would say, is not the better pass rusher. But Jalen Carter is a guy that takes up so much room defensively, and once he gets up to you, he is so wide, so strong, he'll throw you around like a rag doll.
If you're the Bears, what I would do is trade back and get as many picks because you have so many holes. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted the Jets. Honestly, I wanted the Jets, and you look at it this year, I wanted them to keep Sam Darnold 2 years ago, keep Sam Darnold, trade back, get a bunch of picks because Wilson went 2 overall. Trade out of that, let someone else draft the quarterback, keep Darnold because his rookie contract wasn't up and all that, and get more assets. And they didn't, obviously. But if you look at the performance this year, Sam Darnold was actually not super terrible, right?
He sufficed for the Panthers.
Better than a guy that was inactive for 3 weeks or whatever. So I think that would have really been great. I mean, hey, Jets draft outside of Wilson the last 2 years have been phenomenal. But as far as that's concerned, I mean, you look at the quarterback class; it's amazing. We can talk about the draft. I'm a big draft guy. I love the draft. I love the NFL draft.
What do you think of Bijan Robinson being up so high on certain draft boards?
No,
I'm
he's
seeing
really good.
him in the top 7 a lot.
For a running back, that's pretty.
Right. I mean, you're expecting him to be Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley coming out. And Barkley had
Najee Harris,
best grade out of any running back I've seen in a long time.
And without an injury, he would have been. He's still
without
amazing.
multiple injuries.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he'll have a great career. So I just think that's a little aggressive.
I think so, too. And one of the teams, I've seen 2 teams that on certain mock draft boards, and really I only follow like the big writers. I don't strike to staff writer for like CBS Sports or like, because you don't know if that's an intern or if that's like the main guy.
Right.
But so when I look at ESPN, and if you get ESPN Plus, then you know you're getting like the real deal. I saw Bijan to the Eagles, which I was like, you really gonna like just get rid of Miles Sanders
Boston
and like
Scott.
Kenneth Gainwell?
They have
Scott.
a handful.
And then I saw him to the Lions, and I'm like, well,
That doesn't
Jamal
make
and
sense.
Swift had a good tandem, but Jamal is a free agent, so do you just not pay him?
Jamal's going to get paid for a goal line back. He's going to get paid a lot of money.
But why go?
He doesn't do much else.
He worked for the Lions.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why move?
They'll probably pay him, I'm guessing.
So I'm kind of confused.
Lions
by
are
his
close.
spot right now. They are.
Their offensive line's great.
And that's something that the Bears don't have. But remember what they do have. They have $100 million in cap space. So we talked about Roquan not getting signed. Well, not signing him, you could still go out and get a good linebacker in free agency. You don't have to draft 2 defensive guys if you were to trade for 2 first-round picks next year, just say. And you could sign O-line help.
Hey, I'm just saying if the Bears are enamored enough with a quarterback, I would very much so take Justin Fields with the Jets. Actually, frankly, we'll give you Zach Wilson and all
the soda for 2 years, right? The Billy Bean trade.
Yeah, we'll give you Zach Wilson and second round pick this year and like a
Zach who?
And like a fourth next year.
No thanks.
For Justin Fields.
No
if you want to make that deal, I'm cool with that. I wouldn't give up the first. I wouldn't give up, the 13 or whatever to do that. But maybe I would.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Bears to move on from Fields after they made it work.
It doesn't. Unless you look, it's all about winning with a rookie quarterback under that deal. Look at the Chiefs and Mahomes.
Dude, second year. Josh Allen's another example. Jalen Hurts is another example.
Not paying guys and getting the most out of them quick.
Why take a step back? I'm not saying
because your salary cap just drops. So,
I'm not saying Bryce Young won't be special. But why take a step back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you're moving on from a guy that learned how to make it work in the NFL.
Where does Derek Carr end up?
Dude, 6 potential trade fits for Derek Carr is the main headline on NFL.com.
I know the Jets are one.
The Jets are one. Think about it. This guy down here,
Raiders fan.
A Raiders fan.
How you feel about Derek Carr?
I have mixed feelings about Derek Carr. Let me just tell you a couple things here. First of all, he loves the Raiders. He wants to play for the Raiders. Clearly. You got to give him a lot of credit for that because there's a lot of guys out there.
He's had some good seasons.
And he's had some good seasons. His last year, he's had years comparable to my favorite quarterback that I've seen, as a grown-up, not including like Plunkett or anybody because I was like 5 back then, but like Rich Gannon. His numbers are comparable to Rich Gannon, there in like 2000, 2001. Now that type of quarterback and those numbers don't really work in today's world as we're seeing. So
I'd take Rich Gannon.
Oh yeah, Rich Gannon. I love me some Rich Gannon. But so I got mixed feelings about it, and there's something amiss there between between, and it's not just Carr, it's just other players. There's something amiss there between the players, the coaches, and the ownership there down in Las Vegas.
I think Derek Carr could be a very good quarterback for the Saints.
Oh yeah,
like he could really elevate that offense.
Olave, Thomas coming back, probably finally fully healthy.
Hopefully.
Landry was hurt all year.
Jawan Johnson was excellent this year. Think about what you can do with Kamara.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's a great.
It's actually pretty good.
Their defense for Derek Carr. Like, if you're looking for a veteran quarterback, you want to put him in the best chance to succeed. And that's where he wants to go, too.
Good.
And so are they. But, I've seen the Colts thrown out there, and the Colts have tried everything. Like, go young. Go young. Draft C.J. Stroud if you can get him at your pick or trade up. Go young, and then just you're not going to bring in Derek Carr and then draft Stroud because you're going to play Stroud.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense. The Commanders are interesting to me. Really good defense, good wide receiver options because you have McLaurin, you have Dotson, who was excellent this year.
I don't know Derek Carr, but what I understand of Derek Carr is that he's a pretty faith-based person. So I don't know about him playing for an owner that is as what's a nice way to say this? Shady.
Yeah. Okay.
Really bad human would be a thing. Not like, Mark Davis is the best.
Yeah. Now, because who knows how he really thinks with his beliefs.
Right.
But something that I guess I would think about more because I'm a faith-based person too. I'm going to go where the money is, for one, to help my family.
Yeah.
But two, I'm going to use that money for the greater good.
Right.
And so maybe if he gets paid a lot of money to go play football in Washington, it's like, well, I may not be liking my boss, but I'm doing something good for the community.
Carr said in his statement that he said that he wasn't going to play for any, as we know, that he wasn't going to play for any other organization other than the Raiders. But then he said, I'm going to end up somewhere else, and I still got that grind, that want to win. I mean, he wants to win a championship. So I don't think it's about money. I think he just wants to win. He's that 1 year.
He's due $28 million his contract. I mean, he's got 3 years left. Hey, trust me, I looked it up and see where the cap hit would be and all that stuff.
Yeah, to go to the Jets.
And I'm like, if we trade for this guy, he's gonna have to restructure his deal. Yeah. Derek Carr, I'd be cool with paying $15 to $20 million or something for year one, and then. If they can.
Does Derek Carr put butts in seats? I guess that's really what you kind of have to think about. Like if
he would be the best quarterback that the New York Jets have had in a very long time.
How far back?
I can't count Brett Favre's old years, right? Like when he was just playing out the string. I don't count that. Fitzpatrick was good for like a minute.
He's always been good for a minute, though.
A couple games, and then when he threw 6 interceptions in Kansas City, and I was there.
You were in the seats,
wearing a green shirt, and almost got in a fight because Kansas City Chiefs fans in the stadium can be aggressive. I didn't say anything, and people were just talking stuff. I'm like, dude, leave me alone. But I mean, Derek Carr would be the best since Vinny Testaverde, probably.
I think it'd be great if you guys were paying him $15 million.
Think about how long of a
get him out of Las Vegas.
Terrible.
You guys take care of him.
That's fine.
I'll tell you what.
He's leaving Vegas.
You may be right that he doesn't care about money.
But they're not going to get. They're not going to get a really high price for him because they've made it known basically that he's moving on. So now what? Like that's the part that didn't make sense.
Similar with Jacobs. Like why did you avoid that? Like we talk about that a lot, and
he's a really good back.
He's so talented. He led the league in rushing this year.
It don't make sense.
And they don't pick up the 5th year. It's weird to me. It's sometimes I don't understand. The politics that go into those decisions, but I mean, this is a fighter. He's somebody that has the will to win, and that's somebody's chain that doesn't care about money.
Yeah,
that's somebody that cares about winning.
I would take.
Don't put that crap on me.
What's up, Tim?
But yeah, kind of interesting.
Okay, Super Wild Card Weekend. We just went off
I know
the
we kind of went on a tangent.
Rein it in.
Yep. So let's talk. What we're kind of looking. Well, we'll keep it with quarterbacks because it's interesting this weekend because you have Skylar Thompson. You have is it Tyler Huntley for sure,
probably,
or is it going to be what's his name, Anthony
if it's
something?
The other guy, good luck.
Yeah, I can't even remember who their third string is. You have Herbert and Lawrence playing in their first
That's fun.
playoff games.
Two quarterbacks I would have loved.
Yeah, facing off against each other. You have Tom Brady as an underdog who nobody should feel bad for. Playing against Dak Prescott.
Why are we – what – like – okay, I have a very – obviously I have a disdain for Tom Brady. So
a little bit probably.
Like I don't get that. Like people are like, oh, whatever. I'm like, dude, no.
You have Geno Smith and Brock Purdy playing
That's
against
fun.
each other. Like there are some really good matchups, but
Sorry about
you know what I thought about a little bit this morning was
here's my thing. Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
Can the Ravens
pull the upset off?
I mean, they'd be I feel like it'd be a pretty big
9.5-point dog.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
What I was going to get at though is kind of that same point. You look at the Bengals and you look at the Bills, who are your heavy favorites. Even I guess we can say the 49ers, but I'm going to go with the more
10,
proven
right?
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said 2.
10.
Who,
49ers or 10-point favorite, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant ranking-wise.
No,
Mike,
yeah.
there's only 7.
No, I was talking about the line.
Right. But the way I look at this between the Bills and the Bengals, for one, is who feels more pressure in this moment to win? The Bills, who are kind of your Cinderella story right now with all the DeMar Hamlin stuff that went down, or is it the Bengals who are your runner-ups in last year's Super Bowl?
I think it's the Bills, and here's why. Because the Bills, to start the year, even in the offseason, they were the talk of, they're the Super Bowl favorite. They're the favorite. They're the favorite. They've had all that talk and all that pressure, outside pressure, the whole year. And for almost 10 months, right? Like they've had that. They've been the talk of the town, all that, everything. I think the Bills have the most pressure. So I think the Bengals, honestly, it's weird, but I think they're like flown way under the radar this year.
Well, they were pretty bad to start. The year.
Yes, and then they smacked the Jets, and then they took off from there.
It seems like that's a deep wound.
It was
for
real
you.
bad. It was real bad. It was like 33-10 or something.
So
it was like the one of the like 4 games the Jets actually scored a offensive touchdown.
Right. Oh,
it was bad.
Anyway. So focusing on Saturday, first game, Seahawks 49ers, even being 9.5-point dogs, I don't hate the Seahawks.
I don't either. I think
Tyler Lockett's back too.
I think the Seahawks.
If you don't love it, leave it.
I think the Seahawks that defense though, ooh buddy, like the Niners defense. But I think the Seahawks probably is Debo playing. That's
I have
a
not
question.
double checked.
If he's back, that changes the 49ers a lot.
Even if he doesn't play, I think the 49ers win.
Yeah, but the
9.5 play.
If you can get it at, if you can bump that to 10.5, you feel real good.
I'll take it.
I would too, Bo. So I think, yeah. I mean, you probably got it.
I don't see Debo on the current injury report.
Okay, so he's probably playing then.
But I only looked at one link, so
that's all right.
Don't trust me in full.
So I think Seahawks probably are the betting play, but the 49ers win.
And I think even the following game, Chargers-Jags, the Chargers are a weird team because
50-50.
their receiving core is always beat up. And they did just play each other.
Yeah. Mike Williams got hurt in a game that didn't matter.
Yeah, what was
wild.
up? What was
Their
up
big
with those
free
coaching
agent,
decisions?
Free agent signing.
And then I don't really know.
Here's one thing quick on the Chargers. Herbert is amazing, right? They changed when Derwin James actually remained healthy this year on defense. That dude coming out.
Him and Joey Bosa.
That dude coming out was amazing. And then he got hurt for 2 years.
Yeah.
So him actually playing totally helped.
He was actually up for the Heisman. I think people forget that Derwin James was up for the Heisman at Florida State.
He was so good. So, anyway, that's as far as the Chargers go, the defensively, big time.
I kind of like the Jags here, though.
Keenan Allen health. What's the line?
2.5. Ooh. Doug Peterson. Like I'm a big
he should
coach
get coach
guy.
of the year, man.
And you know what's tough is you have
Dable,
and you also have Dan Campbell that needs to be talked about, even though they're not in the playoffs.
I mean, that was a train wreck.
Nick Sirianni should be up there. I think Andy Reid should be up there.
Well, of course, he's gonna be up there every year.
Right, but this is what I talked to DB about the other day. I said, you know what's funny about Andy Reid? Because they're successful in a year that they were like talked about it as if they shouldn't be. Nobody gives him a lot of credit, right?
That's true.
But if they would have sucked this year, you know how many people would be calling for his head?
Yeah, everybody.
Tons.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean,
he's
talk about
evolved the
underappreciated.
offense big time.
Yeah.
Big time. So it's really worked well. The Juju Smith-Schuster signing was, a lot of people questioned, and he's been fine.
And we talked about the Chiefs becoming the new Patriots. They're going to be a landing destination for a bunch of veterans that want to win.
It's very much so like in recruiting college stuff. If you get the quarterback, people want to go play with that quarterback.
Right.
So.
And it's nice to have Mahomes at any point.
I don't want to talk about that. It is. It's so – God.
It's all right. We took Trubisky.
12th pick, man. Come on.
We took Trubisky.
I know.
I get it. At 2, we took Trubisky. You took Wilson at 2.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yep.
How in the –
So before we wrap this thing up.
On this, so I would say how in the hell.
I don't even know if hell's a bad word.
I would actually say what the – but
yeah, I know.
I don't know if I want
wrapping this thing up, though, your favorite play of the weekend? Like, what's the – or not even just play, favorite game of the weekend? Where are your eyes?
Well, you got to go Monday night. You got to go Brady and the Cowboys and all that.
And Kugler's on the call. Kugler.
Yeah. And it's Monday Night Football. How about
that's Kevin?
It's a dream scenario for like ESPN or ABC, whatever. Because it's Monday Night Football, and you have Tom Brady, what could be his last game or not, or last game in Tampa at least, or whatever. All the talk. I think that's the best game, the most intriguing game.
I would agree. I don't
for
think
sure.
Wrong.
As far as like a line goes, I think
weekend-wise, I think it's the Giants-Vikings for me. That's most intriguing because I don't really know what to expect out of the Vikings. I'm still not bought in.
You never do.
I'm not bought in.
They had
DB's bought in.
They should have lost the Jets. I saw something the other day, and Mike J. Schaefer is a friend and Vikings fan, and I sent it to him, and he's like, "That's amazing." It was a stat. They had the most points against or something like they had more points against them than points for this year, and it was like the first time that a team that had their record, as good of a record and all that. But if they're winning those close games, and Kirk Cousins has been pretty good. He's been good. This is a big play for Daniel Jones in his future, though. Big game, huge game.
Yeah, this will impact whether they take a quarterback or
Move
they
on
ride
from
Daniel Jones.
Pay him.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big deal.
So I think that one's probably – what's the line, like 3?
That is 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough. I wouldn't touch that. I'd probably go I don't know what the total is, but playoff games are always low.
Yeah. They normally start low. It's a rarity that you see 13.5-point favorites in Bills-Dolphins.
No, I'm just saying totals are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't have a total higher than 47.5, and that is Chargers-Jags. And that's like on the high end. Or I guess Giants-Vikings is 48. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But outside of that,
yeah. That feels high.
It does.
Feels a little high.
Vikings defense is bad.
Not good. Yeah.
But, every other total is like 42, 43.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like 40. Yeah, I mean, these are what you kind of expect in playoff games.
It tightens up.
So interesting. And we'll talk more about this on Monday in Coffee and Cream, and we'll talk more to Mike Sautter next week on Friday. Enjoy your weekend off.
I got a busy, not weekend off.
Well, I'm sorry, day off.
Yeah, tonight. Night off.
Night off.
I work in day and night shift. So.
Yeah, you don't have
morning.
Sleep.
I work in afternoon. I work in morning, afternoon, and night shift.
I say that to Damon. I'm saying that to you too. I say that to Bill all the time, our boss. You guys never sleep.
Yeah, we did bad at.
Do you have any hobbies there, Mike?
Not sleeping.
Not really.
A lot of the great ones don't have a whole lot of hobbies.
That's right. That's right, Shane.
Mike, thanks for sticking around for Morning Dump. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Toss Mike a follow on Twitter at Mike Sautter _. I got that right.
Yeah, sure.
At Andrew Rogers TV for me. You can follow the show at Hurrdat Sports for Morning Dump, at H Varsity Radio for Coffee and Cream. Enjoy your weekend. Have a blessed Friday. We'll see you next week.